Hello friends, welcome back. So in this session we will learn Spring AOP, aspect oriented programming. So before to start Spring AOP, let me remind that one that we have seen Spring framework is used to create a loosely coupled application. We have seen that benefits. We have seen that in Spring introduction we have seen why we should use Spring, what are the benefits of Spring Boot. So from that one was there, that is Spring framework is used to create loosely coupled application, and loosely coupled application we can create by dependency injections, and other way is aspect oriented programming also. So we have already seen dependency injection. Three types of dependency injection we have seen: constructor injection, setter injection, and field injection, that is a wiring. So we have already seen that one. Now we will see aspect oriented programming. So what is aspect oriented programming? One definitions we can say that aspect oriented programming is used to create an application as loosely coupled application, and AOP ensure that cross-cutting concerns are kept separate from the core business logic. Now what is cross-cutting concerns? Here it is saying AOP ensure that the cross-cutting concerns are kept separate from the core business logic. Like what is core business logic? The requirement, that is a core business logic that we have to implement. So we are focusing on our requirement implementation, but other than requirement implementation we also have to handle some other functionality, like we have to write the logs, we have to do some security checks, we have to manage transactions sometime. So all those features who will handle? If we will write separate code for that one, that will be a tedious task, very complex task. So Spring framework provides aspect oriented programming to do cross-cutting concern. Now what is cross-cutting concerns? Sorry. Aspects are the cross-cutting concern that are used across multiple classes. So now what is cross-cutting concern? So cross-cutting concern is nothing but the common functionality that we want to do before to the execution of the method, after to the execution of the method, or in middle we want to execute some of the functionality. Then how we can achieve that one? Using aspect oriented programming. So cross cutting concern is nothing but the jobs or the set of statements that has to be executed before to the business logic execution or after to the business logic executions. The common behavior generally need to be called from multiple locations in an application, hence they are also called cross-cutting concern. Like if we want to log, we have to write separate codes, but that code we have to write in business logic only. It means that application is not loosely coupled, it's a dependent on some other classes. So how we can achieve that one? So we can use AOP. AOP allow creating a more loosely coupled application wherein you can change the cross-cutting concern code without affecting the business code. Now what is aspect first? AOP means aspect oriented programming. Oriented programming we know that is meant for some reason, some purpose is there, oriented is there. But what is aspect? Aspect are the cross-cutting concern that are used across multiple classes. Like example, transaction management, logging. We want to log some of the classes, like I want to log, yeah, this is entering into this one, this is executing from this one. How I can do that one? Using AOP we can do, and other security checks we can do. So so this is the meaning of aspect oriented programming, and how we can enable that aspect oriented programming? We can enable in both. We can enable in XML configuration, or we can enable in Java configuration. Java configuration we will use enable aspect J auto proxy annotations on top of what, on top of configuration.java file. Whatever the configuration file we will pass to application context, in that top of that file we will enable aspect J auto proxy. And if we are using XML configuration, so in that one we will just add this tag, automatically proxy will be enabled. Okay. So first, before to start this one, we need to add a Maven dependency accordingly whatever the latest version is there. So currently this is our latest version, so just I am adding this this Maven dependency aspect J VVR that is provided by Eclipse Foundation. Okay, so so you can add this dependency in our pom.xml. So if you observe pom.xml now, pom.xml has 3 dependency. These two are the core dependency that we have already seen. That is the core dependency, Spring Context and Spring Core. This is AOP related dependency we need to add. Okay. So once we add this dependency, automatically the all libraries will be added. Okay. Now the next thing, we have to create what? We have to create core business logic first, because whenever the core business logic is executing, we have to enable aspect for that one, so that that particular code will be executed before to that one, after to that one, whenever we want. So first what we will do, we will write a core business logic. So what is our core business logic here? If you see, inside beans we have created a service. Generally it should be in service class, actually in service package. If you want I can keep, it should not be in that one. Actually if it is a service layer, we will see this one how it should be formatted in the packages. Service, generally it should be in service, like ATM service is there, ATM service and bank ATM service is the that implementation. Okay, fine. So not in bean now. Now this is coming under service. So if you see the service, what is our core business logic? Our core business logic is ATM service. What we can do from ATM? We can check balance, we can withdraw amount, we can change pin. These 3 options generally will do. A lot of other functionalities are there, but we just taking common functionality. So from ATM, greeting is what? Whenever you entering your card, it is suggesting welcome to this bank, something like that. So here service has to be placed in service folder. We will see that one. Why should we keep like that? Actually repository should be kept in repository package. So we have moved this to service. So this is our, these 4 are our basic operations of ATM, like greeting, checking balance, withdraw amount and change pin. Now for this one we have to give the implementation. So we have given the implementation in LAT bank ATM service, LAT bank service. This name is not required if you don't want to give. This is just bean name. By default bean name will be class name. Okay. So if you see, this is the implementation and this is our service. So here we have given the implementation for these 4 methods. We have just hard coded this value, this map. Inside that one we have given an LTA bank detail. This is nothing but a Pojo class with having card detail, ATM pin and amount, card number, ATM pin and amount. Okay, so here we have created this one and we have added this in map on the basis of what? Card number. Okay, so once we are greeting welcome to LAT bank ATM. So this is our method. Check balance, this is our implementation. Withdraw amount, this is our implementation. Change pin, this is our implementation. Okay, and here if you see, this is our AOP configuration file. So here what we said, here we have to use enable aspect J auto proxy to enable aspect oriented programming. Okay, fine. So so that only we have added here, enable aspect J auto proxy, and this configuration is to represent that this is our Java configuration file, to indicate that this is our Java configuration file. And component scan we also have seen in the last session. It will check for the stereotype annotation inside these two packages. Inside these two packages checks for stereotype annotation, and for that one Spring will automatically create the beans. And here nothing, we have not created any of the bean, nothing like that. Okay, and now we will go for the starter main class, main method. Here what we are doing, we are getting ATM service, we are getting ATM service object we are getting. So here we are getting the bean on basis of type, ATM service, and we are getting that bean, and just we are calling greeting method, and application stopped. So first it will print what, just we can remove this one, not required because we are not using XML. Okay, so here we are getting ATM service bean object, and we are calling greeting, and we are stopping that application. So let's see. So whatever it should print inside greeting method, if you see what is the implementation inside greeting, welcome to LAT Bank ATM, this is that implementation only, okay. And here only it should print what, it should print welcome to LAT Bank service, ATM service. This much only it should print, welcome to LAT Bank ATM, this much only. But here if I run, you will see application started, before aspect it's printing. Where is this one? After aspect also it is printing. This is executing after, this execution is happening after to the execution of greeting, and this is executing before to the execution of LAT Bank ATM. But we have not written any of the code here. Was just what we are doing, we are passing this AOP configuration file only, AOP configuration file, and from that AOP configuration we are getting ATM service, and that ATM service we are calling greeting, and application stopped. So where is our aspect here now? So this one is there. Now what is aspect? First we have to know what is aspect. Aspect is nothing but a class modularized and defined each of the cross-cutting concern in a single class called aspect. We have to define one aspect. So in that aspect we will define some functionality, and that functionality should be executed when we will want, like we want to before, we want to after, like that. So this is aspect. So, and what is advise? Advise is each method in our aspect class called advise, each method of aspect which provides the implementation for the cross-cutting concern is called advise. Now next one is join point. What is join point? The business method of the program, before or after which the advice can be called is known as join point. The business method of the program before or after which the advice can be called is known as join point. Like it should be executed after, it should be executed before, so that is nothing but join point. Next one is a cut point. Now what is cut point? Representation an expression that evaluate the business method name before or after which is advised need to be called aspect J point expression language is used for the identification. So now we have to see what is this aspect, where is our aspect, where is our advice, where is our join point, where is our cut point. So first, what is aspect? It is a class that define all the cross cutting concern. So where is our class? We have created our class in spring com.techhub.demo.spring.utl package. Inside this utl package we have given ATM log aspect. This is our aspect, and here if you see, we have seen that we have to mark this class with @aspect annotation. Why? Because this should be considered as an aspect, so we have to mark with @aspect annotation. So we have did that one. Next one, what is advice? So advice is, these are our advice. This is one advice, 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 one advices. Okay, so next one is join point. What is join point? What is join point? This is our join point before, after, returning, after throwing, around. These are our, these all are our join point. And what is the cut point here? What is cut point? Cut point is sorry, point cut, not cut point, point cut, sorry. So which is our point cut? So this is our point cut. Inside our join point we can define point cut. Inside our join point we can define point cut, join point, point cut. So this is our join point. Inside that one we can define point cut, and this is our point cut. Execution of what? Return type can be anything. What is the class? This is our class. What should be the method? Any method with any parameter if it is executing, and if it is a throwing exception, then that exception you have to handle in this one. If it is throwing an ATM exception, then please call this method. So that exception we will write log in separate wherever the exception will come. So whenever this method is throwing exception, write that exception in a log. Here we have not written any of the code. If you see in this our starter, if you see, we have not written any try catch here. We have not written. Why? Because that functionality we have did separately in our ATM log aspect. So whenever any of the method of ATM service is throwing an exception, ATM exception, we'll call this one. This is our first join point. This is our first join point, and whenever this method is executing, which method? With return type anything, com.techhub.demo.spring.service.atmservice.greeting, then please call this method before, because before means itself means before only. Before to executing this one, execute this one. You can add here point cut also. This is your point cut, but point cut will not be required here to add, because this is at the rate before, so you can just directly give. Okay, fine. Because here why they have given, because here return type is also there, two parameters are there. Here only one parameter is required, so they are not giving any parameter, they are not giving any variable for this annotation. Okay, so whenever this greeting method is calling, please execute this one before, and after execution of this method greeting, execute this also. So this is before and this is after. That's why this is a printing ATM greeting before aspect, ATM greeting after aspect. That's why this is printing this one, ATM greeting before aspect, ATM greeting after aspect. So this is a loosely coupled application. This is our core logic. This is our core business logic. We have not written anything extra here other than core logic, business core logic. We have not written anything. But still we want to handle this one. We want to log, we want to check whether this is executing this greeting method or not. Then how we will do? We are doing with the help of ATM log aspect. ATM log aspect. Okay, fine. Same like that, after returning, this is for after returning of what? Check balance. So now let's execute a check balance method. Just I'm commenting this one. This is our check balance and I'm printing here. So if I run this one, you will see this is your balance and application stopped. But before to this application, it is after returning, it is calling. See, whenever this method is returning, this is returning here. After returning from here, it is executing what? It is executing this one in yellow color, check balance after returning aspect, and your balance, this one is printed inside aspect also itself. Your balance in aspect advice is this one. And if you modify this value, will not impact the result of a check balance. Okay, this is after returning. Next one is after throwing the exception. What you should do after throwing this exception? You should log that exception. Any method, it is, you can see here, any return type, this class executes any method with any parameter, handle that exception and log that exception here, log the message. So what we will do this time, this is our check balance. I will give ATM card number as a different one. Now in this case, this ATM is not existing. It should throw exception because our code is written in that way. Yes, it is throwing that exception. You can see I'm giving in the red color. Let me do in the different one. Don't give in red. I will give in another color like purple or blue, yellow, green, or red, black, cyan. Okay, this one, because we are not able to read properly. Okay, sorry, not this one, yes. So now again, just I am trying to start this one and you will see. Yes, so it is saying what? After throwing the exception, what it is throwing exception, what is that message? Invalid card number. We are giving the card number as invalid, so it is throwing exception and we are handling now. Yes, okay. Next aspect is after throwing, that is fine, any method. This is not like that, it is throwing exception only this check balance. If it is change pin or any other method, if it is withdraw method, any method, if it is throwing exception, it will handle because of this, because of aspect point cut expression language. What is a aspect point cut expression language? This is our aspect point cut expression language. Star representing any return type. This is our fully qualified class name. This is our method name. Any parameter, it means any parameter, either 1, 2, 3, any. Okay, and if I will give here star, it means here you can see here star means any method execute with any return type of this method of this class. Any method is executing with any parameter, please handle that exception. So it will handle for all. Okay, next one is around. What does it mean of around? Go for change pin once. Okay, let's check for this also. So this is what? This is withdraw amount. Let's do this also once. Yeah, applications exiting from the withdraw and application is executing successfully, like this. PAN card number is correct, ATM pin is correct, amount is correct, so it is withdrawing that amount. If I will give this PAN card card number as a different one, ATM card number, then it will give that exception, and exception will be handled in aspect only. Yes, same only, invalid card number. Okay, if I will give that card number is same but card pin I will give different, so the message will be different. You can see message will be different. Yes, invalid ATM pin. So like that it will handle. But only the single point cut is that aspect, single point cut, this one only is handling. Next one is around. Around we have used for change pin. So for change pin, if you want to change the pin, then first you have to give the exact pin, and then it will, this is the new pin. I want to, this pin currently this is my pin number, but I want to change to this one, so this is my card number. Okay. So here this is correct, it will do. Yeah, exiting from change pin, there is no exception. Let me change this color also, yellow give. Okay, so here if you see before to changing this pin, this is calling this one. After entering into that one, you can see here properly. Now I will run once more and you will see. You can see application started, then before to calling this method it is entering into ATM change pin around aspect started, and entering into change pin, where this entering into change pin method is there, is this statement is written, that is written inside our business logic, entering into change pin. So if you see, this one is executing, this statement line number 58 is executing ATM change pin around aspect started, so before it is coming. And if you see the line number 60, it is returning control to the method again, control to the this change pin again. So after that one it is coming into entering into change pin. Yes, first it is printing from the aspect ATM change pin around aspect started action, then it is entering into change pin, then it is exiting from, after exiting again it is again control is coming to post action, control is coming to this cut this aspect again, so this advice again, and it is printing ATM change pin around aspect, application stopped. User, it is printing from here, it is returning, application stopped, and after that one it is printing to this one. So this one is the execution of yes, user, this is around exiting. Okay, fine. And if it is giving any error, like this one is not correct, after throwing invalid card number, it is coming to which one, it is coming to this aspect, after throwing aspect. Okay, so like that we can give all the aspect, advice, join point and point cut. So what is aspect? Aspect is nothing but the class that will define the cross-cutting concerns, and advice is the method. Advice are the methods that will provide the implementation for cross-cutting concern. Join point will be the business method of a program before or after which advice can be called. So this is our join point. This is our join point, and these are the point cut. At what point it should cut, at what method it should cut, like that. Okay, fine. So here there are 5 types of advice as given below. At the rate before, used to specify the code that is executed before a join point execution. What is join point? The method that core what is that one, that that is sorry, that business core business logic. So that is a point cut execution. Then we'll continue the join point execution. The core logic, it will execute after that one. It will execute before. After returning, used to specify the code that is executed after a join point execution and return successfully without exception. After throw sorry, after throwing, used to specify the code that is executed only when a join point exists by throwing an exception. After is used to after the execution of join point. Around, used to specify the code that is executed before join point invocation, and some logic which get executed after the join point return successfully. So that is all the types of advice: before, after returning, after throwing, around. Okay, and if you see, this is the example that will tell what is aspect, what is point advice, what is the type of advice, what is point cut. So here if you see this one is representing aspect. This is your aspect, and this 2, this is your advice. This complete method, this before method is you see greeting before advice. This is your method. So this complete method called advice. Third one is advice type. Either it should be before or after. That is advice type. Next one is point cut. That is yield expression. This is your point cut. When it should be executed, this is your point cut. Okay, inside your point cut, if you see line numbers, point number 6, that is represent any return type. 7, that is a package name. 8th one is the class name. 9th one is the method name, and method parameter any number 0 or more, or any 0, 1, 2, 3, or any of them, or any type. Okay, so this is all about the AOP, aspect oriented programming in Spring. If you want to go with the XML configuration, then that also you can do very easily. Just you have to mark this annotation, this tag, and you have to create a bean of what? You have to create a bean of aspect, or you can use component scan and you can mark this as a component. That also will be fine. You want to scan the component, you can scan the component, you can specify that package, then also will work. Okay, so that is only the, just you have to enable this one, auto proxy. Aspect J auto proxy you have to enable, because we don't have the configuration file. In that case, configuration file is XML, in that one only we are passing, but here our configuration file is AOP config. So here we are marking @component scan also, and here we are enabling enable aspect J auto proxy, enable auto aspect J auto proxy. Okay. But in case of XML we have to add this tag, and we can use @component scan, or we can create the object for this aspect also. We can specify that bean in XML how we were specifying in the same way. Okay, so like that we can create for XML also. Fine. So that is all about the aspect oriented programming in Spring. Okay, so in the next session we will see Spring MVC, model view controller. So I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my channel, and we will see you in the next session. Till that, bye bye, and thanks for watching.